Hello, welcome to our group discussion. We're going to be talking about wrongful dismissal of duty conduct. My name is Dorothy Letting, and together with my team, we're going to do an in-depth discussion of this topic, as well as a case scenario of a case that was had here in Ontario a while back. So what is wrongful dismissal? It occurs when an employer terminates an employee without providing required notice or paying leave of notice, and without just cause. So just cause general requirements of common law are which are grounds for termination with just cause include dishonesty, which is like serious dishonesty, and then there's insolence or insubordination, and conflict of interest, and as well as off-duty conduct. But in off-duty conduct, it's not generally a just cause unless the conduct first has harmed the employer's business or reputation. 2, it has rendered the employee incapable of performing their tasks or duties satisfactorily, and or as well as difficult for the employer to manage the workforce. And finally, and if there was the off-duty conduct was a criminal act. So we're going to look at the case Merrick versus Tiger Cat Industries, and we'll discuss the case as well as give the evidences and the decision that was made by the judge. So welcome to the discussion.
Hey Dorothy,
Hey,
what are you doing?
I'm studying about just cause.
Oh,
Did you know that an employee who's been dismissed due to just cause can sue the employer if the employer fails to meet the common law standards?
really?
Yeah.
Well, I know this much that just cause has to be proved by the employer, and proving that is very difficult. The misconduct has to be proved, and the misconduct has to be severe. And before you terminate, you need to give them progressive warning.
Okay. Oh, that's good in a way. There's the just cause falls in the employment standard framework, right?
Yes, but I also read recently a case which shows that it is also part of common law standards. So there was this case I was reading on Canley. It was called Merritt versus Tiger Cat Industries. So I think it was from the case received its final decision in 2016. But there was a guy called Keith Merritt. He was 67-year-old, and he was working as a logger, one of those wood logger. He was working in a logging company called Tiger Cat Industries, and to be honest, from the court case, I can see he had some behavioral problems, like disciplinary problems, but nothing major. And he was working in the Paris, Ontario facility. The one day, completely out of the blue, police come and arrest him on counts of sexual assault against a minor. 2 counts of sexual assault against a minor. And, police takes him away and everything, and then the next day, Tiger Cat tells him, do you want to explain your charges? He's a smart guy. He says that, well, my conduct or my misbehavior was not related to the workplace. So he doesn't want to explain himself. And as a result, Tiger Cat says, well, you have to, take 2 weeks of leave. So he agrees to it. And he takes the 2 weeks of leave, and then he comes back after 2 weeks. But when he comes back, he realizes that he has been transferred to a different facility, which was in Cambridge, Ontario. It gets wilder that in Cambridge, he meets this woman, and this woman, after meeting him, gets very flustered and uncomfortable, and then goes to the, Tiger Cat HR people or whatever, and says that this guy is a distant relative, and she used to visit his farm, and he would make inappropriate sexual advances and comments to her, and that she is not comfortable working with him, in such close quarters. Well, she's valid, right?
So for the employee, did she put any?
So she did this. She reported this to, the authorities, and they, without any further investigation, just terminated his contract, like terminated work. He kept saying that this misconduct is not related to work and it doesn't implicate work. And also, there is no proof because they are not recording this. So once he gets terminated, he goes to the court and he files for wrongful dismissal against Tiger Cat. Interestingly, believe it or not, the court decides in his favor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's the wildest thing. He and the court decides in his favor, and that becomes a statute in common law.
Amazing.
Yeah, seriously, right? I mean, you've got to think about it.
Thank you, Dr. Sayani, for all the introduction explanation about the incident. So I'm Renata going to talk about the case summary in the judiciary phase. As explained through all the information before, as a consequence, Mr. Keith Merritt filed a claim against Tiger Cat. So Merritt versus in the Tiger Industry case was analyzed by Ontario Superior Court of Justice, involved a wrongful dismissal claim brought by the plaintiff, Mr. Keith Merritt, against his former employee, Tiger Cat Industry. The dispute was centering whether the dismissal, the termination with just cause, was a wrongful dismissal or not. So the case gonna check the workplace conduct, employment contract terms, and employee procedural unfairness in handling the dismissal. The evidentiary phase is important in all the cases. In a case like that, it's really, because for being a sensitive topic, it's really, really important for them to have the burden of proof for the company to show that they handling well the situation. So the employer must prove the existence of cause for termination. Mr. Merritt should prove that the termination was wrongful. Being more specific, Tiger Cat needs to prove their allegations, which were criminal reputation, harm, dishonesty, and cumulative disciplinary records. And to prove the criminal and reputational harm and dishonesty, the defendant need to have strong evidence, or like written communication, investigations, witnesses, internal memorandum, to prove the grounds of relevance and legality of the dismissal. However, they only use an affidavit and employment records to prove the dismissal. For the dishonesty, the company was saying that the plaintiff Mr. Merritt need to disclose the information when was questioned about his supervisor, and that is not an obligation because it was an off-conduct situation that have no impact with their work, any kind of relation with work. So he didn't need to provide any information, to disclose any information. And the cumulative discipline record was not a strong proof in Mr. Merritt's situation, and despite having 4 occurrences, none of them was related with sexual assault or harassment. So Kartik is going to provide more information regarding the outcome of the case. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karthik, and I'm going to talk about the decision the court made in the case of Merritt versus Tiger Cat Industries. The court ruled that Merritt was wrongfully dismissed by targeted industries as they failed to prove just cause for its termination. Because the dismissal was unfair, Merit was awarded reasonable notice damages. Justice D.J. Gordon's decision emphasized the importance of due process and fair disciplinary procedures when it comes to hiring or dismissal of an employee. Even though Merit faced criminal charges for 2 counts of sexual assaults against a minor off duty, the court determined that this wasn't enough to justify a termination for just cause. As a result, Merit was granted summary judgment for wrongful dismissal and awarded 10 months of reasonable notice damages. This ruling is now a key case and in common law, setting a precedent of how wrongful dismissal cases should be handled in similar situations going forward. Thank you so much.